Hello, Stratters. Nick here, playing a match of Modern Jund. We are on the play, and we're going to go ahead and keep this hand. Play Overgrown Tomb tapped. Okay, against Tron of some variety. I think here probably the most important thing is to get a clock into play. So play Tarmogoyf. We should be able to get the Tarmogoyf bigger to where we want to have played this turn instead of the Scavenging Ooze. Okay, against a blue Tron variant. So normally I'd want to save the fetch land to combo with the Tireless Tracker, but I want to be able to turn on, turn up the Tarmogoyf's power and toughness. And I'm also going to play this Dark Confidant pre-combat in case they counter it, or so this puts an instant in the yard. I'll go ahead and crack this, put a land into the yard. I don't know if I really need double red. I probably want another green mana source for the Scavenging Ooze. But I also don't want to get Ghost Quartered off a red or something like that. So I'm going to go ahead and get this Stomping Ground and attack for 2. And the remand there was pretty nice because we were able to prevent the opponent from searching out Tron. However, we're not going to be able to do that this turn. Okay, so Dark Confidant resolved. Now the opponent's going to search out the final piece of their Tron. Okay, Thirst for Knowledge. That's Curious why. This is a little bit more mana efficient. What is this? Wayfarer's Bauble. Okay. A little bit more mana efficient for them, but I guess if they have something to do with 5 mana this turn, then it would make sense to sequence things the way that they have. So if they play like a Solemn Simulacrum or something like that, exactly what they play. Okay. We don't really have anything we can do. Overgrown Tomb was the reveal. So I'm kind of afraid that they have a sweeper. So what I might want to do is just Kolaghan's command to destroy this and make them discard a card. Forces through quite a bit of damage. Maybe destroy this, deal 2 to them. 6 cards is a lot of cards. Presumably they have some card that they can get rid of that isn't going to impact their game plan a lot. Let's do some math here. So if they're at 16, we put them to 14. The Tarmogoyf grows by 1 since there isn't a creature in the yard. So they go from... put them to 8 after... That might be worthwhile. Or maybe what we want to do is start here with an Inquisition, just see what they have in hand, and then if they have some good stuff, maybe make them discard, and if not, we can deal them 2. Inquisition doesn't hit a lot in this matchup, typically speaking. Alright, so Condescend, Remand, Repeal. I have a Mindslaver. Be very close to having a Mindslaver lock. They'll just need to search out the Academy runes. Man. guess out of all of these, maybe the most annoying is the Condescend, maybe the Repeal because it deals with the board. I'll take the Repeal for that reason, because Condescend and Remand are fairly similar. And I think we do still just want to destroy target artifact, deal 2, and just try to beat them down as best as we can. So puts them to 7. So from my calculations I did earlier, we added an instant to the yard with the Repeal, but also with the Kolaghan's command. Okay, so they go with Wormcoil Engine. So we have some ways we could chew through a Wormcoil Engine. Alright. So if we pulse, okay, so we're going to probably want to... Pulse is the only thing that can kill the Wormcoil. So pulse the Wormcoil, push one of the tokens and bolt the other. Hopefully that... the problem is I know they have a counter spell. And they can condescend for 3, even Remand's going to be fine here. Okay, so they let that happen. And I think we want to kill... I mean, they're both annoying because the Death Touch will trade with my Tarmogoyf, and the Life Link will gain them life. I think probably the most annoying is the Death Touch. The opponent's probably trying to get out of this so that they can remand a critical spell and then crack map to get Academy runes. Right, they do have... So they're just letting this all happen. Yeah, I don't know what we can really do at this point. I mean, right, they do have these cards. Yeah, they have a Remand and a Condescend. So if I attack with also the Dark Confidant, they would take 5 but gain 3, so that would put them to 5. I guess just attack with the Tarmogoyf. And they chump. Puts them back up to 10. Yeah, so I think they've gotten through this. They're just going to search out the Academy runes, and then they'll have... I think they have enough mana for the lock with Mindslaver. Okay, so they're going Thirst for Knowledge. So what they get rid of? Solemn. Dealt with those. I think they've played this power plant. So we know that they have a Remand, a Condescend, and a Mindslaver. So play the Mindslaver. Crack it. Presumably this expedition map's going to go and get bolt them. Going to go and get Academy runes at some point, and we'll be dead. Those were not terrible draws. So presumably play Bloodstained Mire, fetch it and get nothing. Or maybe a little fetch and shock to reduce the life total with the Dark Confidant. It depends what they want to do. Probably bolt the Dark Confidant. Yeah, so probably we'll bolt the Dark Confidant and do nothing else. Okay, play the Ooze and bolt the Ooze. Guess that makes sense. I'm a little surprised though that they remanded the Lightning Bolt instead of searching out Academy runes. They do have Academy runes. Sundering Titan, alright. Blow up 3 of my lands. If I have the right draw steps, I guess I could get out of this potentially. But those were not it. Yeah, so now they just Academy runes and Mindslaver lock me. Let's make sure that they do it. I think the opponent played a little bit too conservatively here. I mean, there was a lot of times where, what could I really have, that they could have searched it up earlier. Alright, so they got it. Okay. So go to sideboarding. Cards we want. Ancient Grudge. I don't really know what else we'd want. Maybe Collective Brutality, just as an extra discard spell. Bolts and pushes are all pretty bad. So maybe Collective Brutality, the Grim, and I prefer an Olivia or a Finks. Let's bring in Olivia. So you'll notice in my sideboard I don't have any real good interaction for these matchups. I just think they're too difficult to win, even if you have a bunch of fulminators and so forth in your deck. It's alright. So I think I want to take this expedition map, and then we'll cast a Thoughtseize next turn and figure out what we want to take. probably I guess depends on what kind of, if we draw land or what kind of land we draw. That's a nice one. So now I want to take probably the Condescend out of the hand so that I can resolve my Lilianna. Take that Condescend, play Raging Ravine, and then Lilianna will go to work on their resources and make it very difficult to cast any of the large spells. Go out and search an Overgrown Tomb and play a Lilianna the Veil. Take it up, and I think we can afford to get rid of a land. We'll draw plenty more lands, I assume. Get rid of the Mindslaver, which makes sense since it's the most expensive. And probably the only card that can really deal with the Lilianna is Repeal. So I think it's safe to discard this other Lilianna the Veil. I will play very large Tarmogoyf. Resolved. Pop up graveyards. Okay, Thirst for Knowledge. Played Island, Thirst, and they got rid of that Mindslaver. Okay, so potentially just have one island that we know about. So, Solemn's fine. Now we'll discard this Ooze. And I don't want to allow the Lilianna to get hit because I'd like to ultimate it. So I'm going to leave the Tarmogoyf on defense. The opponent, they could have a repeal since they discarded a repeal. Be likely a card that you might only discard if you had duplicates. Alright, so let's ultimate this Lilianna. And so I think I want to... Ooh, Squelch. Okay, well that's... not one you see in Modern a lot. I'll say that. I don't think I can plus there, though. That would be... Because then I just open myself up to this Oblivion Stone. Attack with the Tarmogoyf. I think I have enough ways to deal with an Oblivion Stone in my deck that I don't want to play this other Lilianna into the Oblivion Stone. I have Pulse, I have Kolaghan's Command, I have Ancient Grudge. So I have plenty of different ways to deal with an Oblivion Stone. Wonder if they'll get like a Ghost Quarter or Tech Edge here. No, they went for a Tron land. Get in with the Tarmogoyf. Take one of those repeals. probably fire off a repeal on end step on the Tarmogoyf, but I think that's okay. Recast my Tarmogoyf. Right. So I wonder how much pressure I'm going to have to put on before they actually crack this Oblivion Stone. And then I have been keeping that fetch uncracked just in case I drew a Tireless Tracker. But what did they put on top? Expedition map. I guess that makes sense. So they can go and get Tron. But at this point, I might crack these so I can activate their Raging Ravine. I'm curious to see if they go for Tron here, if they go for like a Ghost Quarter or Tech Edge to take out their Raging Ravine. Okay, so they go for Tron. And they also have the Mindslaver lock. So we'll force them to crack the Oblivion Stone. Maybe, I don't know, they probably just have this one. This is a tough matchup for Jund sometimes. It's really that Squelch that did us in. I think if we ultimated a Lilianna, that's typically how you can win the matchup. So, do they have enough mana? Yeah, they have enough mana to activate Oblivion Stone and to use the Academy Runes on the Mindslaver, so I don't see really what we can do to get out of this. They take it all. Well, yep, so tap 6, and they'll tap 4 to activate, and they'll still have 2 left over to Academy Ruins, so at this point they got us. There's no real reason to keep playing. Alright, I hope you enjoyed the match, Stratters. Stay tuned.